Lakeland has a drinking problem. All of the water has been fouled, and it's up to you to find out why. As Nasser, Child of Light, you'll embark on a quest that demands great courage and fortitude. It's a journey that takes Nasser from childhood to manhood, played out against breathtaking 16-bit backdrops. Along the way, you must negotiate a network of labyrinths filled with horrifying 3D creatures. Using weapons, magical items, and 16 spells, you can turn the tide, defeating the forces of evil and restoring pure water to this once tranquil little town. And this is Lagoon from Zoom and Chemco, released in 1991, also available on that good old Sharp 68,000 computer machine. This is a very early action RPG for the Super Nintendo, was one of them launch title kind of things, where our hero, Nasser, Champion of Light, must investigate the source of the world's corrupted water and return peace to Lakeland. It's an action RPG, as we said, set in a fantasy setting very similar to early Ys games, combining real-time action gameplay with RPG elements such as experience holes and equipment management, so it's also kind of like Crystalis a little bit. Player travels through an assortment of town, landscapes, and dungeons while battling a variety of enemies, ranging from insects to giant bosses, gaining experience and items along the way. Lakeland is a prosperous country full of many people and their families. All was great until something bad happened. That's what the sentence says. It seems that Lakeland is having a bit of a water problem. Muddy water. An evil being known as Zera has polluted all of Lakeland's rivers and lakes, making people very sick and some dying. He does this in hopes to release an evil spirit which is hiding underneath Lagoon Castle. So Zera lifts Lagoon Castle into the clouds where no one can reach it. With all this, Lakeland needs a hero. The hero, named Nasser, Champion of Light, must go through many lands, challenging many monsters, and meet many people who will help him on his quest. There's not a lot to read about this game, have you noticed? It's kind of been lost to the sands of time. It's about an average rating on the things I've seen. It's got, I think it's got some pretty good graphics. I think it's got some pretty good music. The gameplay is good. It's just a hard game. And it is hard because your attack has such tiny, tiny little range. It doesn't seem to jive very well with the aspect ratio, the way we're looking at the screen. Your sword is really good left and right, even though it's still ridiculously short. Swinging up or down, you might as well just have a little tiny knife. Doesn't work very good. The original, because this is a port, the original Sharp 68,000 version has several differences, has animated cutscenes, the storyline is slightly different, with objectives that do not match the order in which they happen in the Super NES version. The combat style is closer to Ys, Hydlide, or Tower of Duraga, where the player attacks simply by drawing a sword and crashing into an enemy, rather than hitting a button for each slash. Probably would have been better. I have played this game a little bit. I've never really stuck with it long enough because it is a little ridiculous, I think, with the combat being as it is. Probably would have been better to have left it alone, more like Ys or those others, where you don't have to actually tap the button, but I don't know. They probably were trying to fancy it up for the new console, even though I think the 68,000 was a more powerful computer, than the SNES. Could be wrong. This American version brought to us, published by Sega, which they did a few games, not a ton, but a few. And what else can I tell you? Well, you know the story very well. You know what I think about it. We actually do have a Let's Play of this over at LowBiasGaming.net. Good friend Jade Farrow sat down and did the whole game for us. So props to you, Jade. This is much more than I was going to get into.